I've been noticing a growing trend in major Hollywood movies. In 2025 alone, we've had at least 4 major releases with central characters who feel isolated or trapped. Not physically trapped, but trapped by expectations to conform to societal norms, sometimes trapped by outright oppression, or even trapped by their own mindset or worldview. Now, don't get me wrong. Loneliness, isolation, and general powerlessness have been explored in film since the dawn of cinema, but these themes feel more explicit, more central in movies from the last decade, reflecting what many call the modern epidemic of loneliness. That's not to say that films which show similar themes are at all inferior, quite the opposite actually. I think there's a real sincerity behind them. They aim to empower, to give voice to that quiet, sinking feeling that the world is slowly stripping away our agency. And that brings us to Bound, a film that fits squarely into this category with one big difference. While you've probably seen at least one of the Hollywood blockbusters I just mentioned, Bound is a movie that most people watching this video likely haven't seen. But we're here to change that, or at least try. Today, we'll split this discussion into 2 parts. First, what the film has to say about freedom and being trapped, and second, why, despite the production team's best efforts, it'll likely be one of the best movies this year that won't find the audience it deserves. Bound tells the story of Bella, a young woman who flees an abusive household and heads to New York City to rebuild her life, only to find that some parts of her past refuse to stay behind. We follow Bella, played with remarkable maturity by Alexandra Faye Sadeghian, as she meets and befriends people on the fringes of society, people who, in one way or another, help her break free of her situation. Here, writer-director Isaac Hirotsu Woofter uses this designing principle to achieve 3 things. First, he showcases the wild diversity of a place like New York as Bella encounters characters like Standrick, a gay aspiring fashion designer, Marta, a feisty bartender, and Owais, a Muslim war veteran turned barista, played with incredible gravitas by Ramin Karimlu, best known for his role in the Phantom of the Opera stage musical. Second, Woofter uses these characters to inject the film with a rare kind of humanity, where other indie hits like Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always portray New York as salvation laced with incredible danger. Bound somewhat flips that script. It shows us a gritty, unforgiving city, yes, but insists that even here, solidarity and kindness can bloom within its colorful community. And finally, most importantly, Woofter gives each of these characters depth in a similar struggle. They're not just sidekicks, they're all, in their own way, trapped. Owais is trapped by guilt from the war, vowing never to touch a gun again. Marta is trapped in fear and control, a backstory that unfolds gradually as the film progresses. Standrick, as a gay black man, is trapped by societal prejudice, though the film also questions whether part of his entrapment stems from his own mindset and reactions. Even Bella's stepfather and mother are trapped in a toxic relationship and the vicious cycle of addiction. And then of course, there's Bella, trapped in the trauma of her past, a trauma that follows her through every frame of the film. The title Bound isn't just appropriate, it's pointed. Each character is bound to their pain, their fears, their history. But the film's deeper message is one of connection. We are all bound by something, yes, but we don't have to face that something alone. Sometimes we can only break free with the help of others. Pair that message with grounded performances and moments of levity amid intensity, and you've got a film that hits hard without shouting, capturing the true spirit of independent filmmaking. It's not perfect, the way it handles a particular twist feels a bit convenient, and the final act's pacing is a little rushed. But these are small blemishes on a film that has so much to say about resilience and the human spirit. So yes, Bound is a film I strongly recommend. It's no surprise to see its high scores on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, or its festival wins, but I was surprised, maybe even disheartened, to find that at the time of recording, it only had just over 100 IMDb ratings, a similar number of views on Letterboxd, and just over 20 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. The world just isn't paying attention to this film. And I asked myself, why? Not too long ago, I visited Los Angeles for the first time. And while sitting in a local cinema watching Oscar contenders, a sad thought hit me. One I've had before, but never quite so sharply. As trailers played for films I'd never even heard of, I was reminded that every year, thousands of films are made, and most of them will likely never be seen by you or me. In fact, according to IMDb, there were between 4,000 and 5,000 films produced in 2005. By 2015, that number had doubled to over 9,000. And today, with streaming and technology enabling more efficient production and distribution, we're likely in a world where more than 10,000 films are made each year. Think about that. What this means is if you watch movies non-stop, 24 hours a day, every day for a year, you still wouldn't make it through half of the movies made in that year. Now add to that the fact that the average person is only exposed to a handful of mainstream Hollywood films and a few local titles from our own countries, and it's easy to see how most films just disappear into the void. And sadly, as competent and sincere as Bound is, it's become a victim of this system, trapped in a cruel and meta way by its own limited budget and lack of marketing momentum. What's sadder is that Bound is probably not alone in this fate, which is a roundabout way of saying that independent filmmaking is far harder than most of us realize. That said, maybe that's where people like you and me come in. I'm not naive enough to think that this video will propel Bound to massive success, but we can all help in small ways to provide support. We can seek the film out, we can watch it, talk about it, leave a review, start a conversation about it with someone we know. If we want films to stay original, authentic, and daring, then supporting smaller, high-quality indie work is just as important as enjoying the popcorn flick at your local Cineplex. Bound delivers impactful social commentary, but balances that with entertainment value that is well worth your time. And in a universe where our time is the only scarcity in life, that's saying a lot. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it. Have you heard of Bound? What did you think about it if you've seen it? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Put them down in the comments below. I will be back with a new video soon. So until next time, stay safe, stay hyped, and I'll see you next time.